All right, what's going on, everybody? We've got my boy Des in the house. Des is an amazing guy, man. Member here inside of the Grind Tribe, and we wanted to share with you, what is the type of lifestyle that you live once you enter inside of this program? What can you get from it, and what value it can potentially provide for you, man? And so, Des, bro, I want you to introduce yourself, man. Tell these people where you're from, man. What do you do? And third to that, what do you value as a black man?
Got you. Dope, man. Pleasure to be here, bro. Love everything that you're doing with the Grind Tribe. Really, setting outside opportunities for people like me to kind of be at our best self. That's definitely something I get from the community. But I'm Desmond Wiggan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a technology company based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's where I live with my family. And we're a hardware IoT company that's pretty much looking to connect people, businesses, and communities through a platform that we're building in the hardware space. And man, when you talk about value as a black man, I think that's something that has changed over time. Now being a husband, now being a father, new father as well. It used to be where I just thought about self. So obviously, families like first and foremost. So their growth, their development, their needs, just making sure that's all taken care of based on the capacity that I have, right? I'm definitely spiritually connected, so that leads a lot of my direction, my decisions, what I do or don't do. And I've been blessed in that sense as well. And I think lastly is just like making sure that I'm able to give my all to the areas that are important to me, like the family life, the work life, my church, just like me, my working out, all those different things, like making sure I'm, at full capacity to be able to do that. So that's kind of what I value. And then, just on another sense, just, being a role model for not only entrepreneurs, but other Black men that are coming in the space that I'm in or want to do bigger and better things. I hope that they could kind of see me, see my life, and just say like, yo, I was motivated by this, by Des, and so that's kind of like where I lay in this whole makeup of the world.
Love it, man. Always love the way you're so purpose driven, man. And that's something that, as you know, I hold to a very high value, man. You said something really important inside of those last couple of sentences, man. The word capacity, man. That's a really, really important word. Let's talk about what was the goal that you were looking to accomplish when you joined this program.
Yeah, man. So, to give you a little bit of background or the individuals that are gonna, tune into this. Growing up, I ran track and field. I was a track and field athlete all the way through college. I got a scholarship. I ran distance, right? So it was always hard for me to gain weight, and so I always been like, slim, lean, which was good at the time, but over the years, you graduate college, it's like, man, I want to put on a little bit of, weight or whatever. And so a few years ago, I had the opportunity to travel abroad, study in China. And I was lifting heavy. I was eating really, really good. And I had gotten to this ideal, what I felt like was the ideal weight. And it was confidence that came with that. And it was just like so much more of me being able to give my all, in just different areas of my life. And so coming back to the US, like, lifestyle, again, marriage, kid, all this stuff, like it kind of completely shift what I was able to do out there as far as like being in that shape. And so I missed that, man. And so like I was really looking for, a community, a trainer, somebody that could lead me to getting back to not only that weight, but that mental fortitude that was needed to kind of maintain that as well. So that was my goal, just get back to that ideal body shape.
Right. Nah, 100%, man. 100%. And so you said something really important here as well, bro. You talked about when you had kind of, you were just graduated, you were kind of in that prime shape. A lot of guys who are looking at this program, they are in a position now where they have grown, they've got different levels of commitments, different levels of values. And so, number one, their body is not as respondent as it was fresh out of college or when you were in college. They also don't have as much time to train, be inside of that culture as much, but also the level of commitments are changing, right? And so with that, man, when you came in, when you looked at the type of body that you wanted to achieve, how did that connect with what was really, really important inside of the goals that you had inside of your life at that moment?
You know what? I think that's a good question. And I think that was one of the things that you helped me realize as you know, the first few weeks, our consultation and just really being hyper focused on what I wanted to kind of come out of this. And I think that, you know, when I started to look at the landscape of who I was and like what it took to kind of get there, I knew that there were some things that I needed to sacrifice, you know, and so for me, it was just figuring out capacity wise what needed to be done so that I could get to that space, but also be able to, you know, benefit on a confidence level or time level with my family, you know. And so I feel like, you know, the first few weeks just kind of pushed me into seeing like who I really wanted to be, like what I really wanted to get out of a program. And, you know, I guess the time and the commitment that I was wanting to put in order to become who I wanted to become.
Mm. And knowing that, man, like, what were some of the challenges, or what are some of the things that you had tried to do, previous to joining with me, that kind of wasn't really moving the needle for you?
You know what? I had to drop some stuff, you know. I felt like, you know, in this new phase of life that I could take the same things that I had on my plate into this next phase. And I just couldn't, you know, whether it was like honestly drinking as much as I was, you know, being out, you know, and kind of doing all that stuff. And then like, you know, not waking up on like a Saturday to go run or go and do a workout. It's just like I had to be disciplined in, you know, taking some of those things that aren't bringing me closer to my goal, identifying those, then alleviating those, and then just being disciplined to say like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm not going to be able to work out, or, you know, I'm not able to work, you know, 8 hours straight as an entrepreneur and not eat, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that was such a big part of like, you know, this balancing act of me being more intentional of the lifestyle that I had and where I wanted to go. And I feel like you allowed me to structure on a really data driven side of like what needs to be done in order to get to this optimal space.
100%, 100%. I agree, man. Talking about not eating, we don't play that shit anymore. So
Right, bro.
let's talk about where you are right now, man. We know where you started, what you wanted to accomplish, where you are at right now. Did you reach your goal? How do you feel physically? How do you feel mentally?
Bro, you see me in the camera, man. I look good, man. Like I feel like I'm at a really good state all in all facets, especially physically. I was able to gain, I think, a total of 10 pounds over the last, you know, few months alone. And it's just from, you know, just being disciplined. And you know, my goal by the end of the year is to gain another 4, you know. And you know, I think I still will be able to. I just had to up my eating and stuff like that, you know. And so I feel like I'm where I wanted to be. I'm at that. I'm actually meeting the weight that I was in China. You know, I'm like at that weight. I'm just trying to put on a little bit more, you know, to over exceed that. But I feel like I'm good. I feel like, you know, one of the things I love about your program is you not only tap into, you know, the physical aspect, but there's other components that are a really big part of your program. You know, the mental health aspect, you know, the dietary nutrition piece of it as well, that you push us to focus on, you know. And so I think that's been a big part of like me being able to kind of work through these challenges and get to this ideal weight and get to this like optimal man that I want to be.
100%, man. 100%. I love it, bro. So let's talk day to day, man. As a founder, right, which comes with a lot of commitments, a lot of potential chaos in your day to day, just lifestyle and work. As a father, how has this change impacted the way that you show up in both of those capacities on a day to day basis?
I think one of the things, you know, before even getting into this like entrepreneurial game, I used to talk to like mentors now that had done it, right? I saw them as good fathers and then I saw them as good businessmen. And I was just like, how? And you know, a lot of it was again showing up at the right times. And so I feel like with everything being, documented. You make sure we write, we plan out our week, we do this or we do that, we set goals and stuff like that. I feel like it allows me to structure my time so that I'm able to show up, after a long day of working with my family. You know what I'm saying? Because I started my day off at a mental balance, right? Because like we did the 15-minute meditation that you have in the application. And then that allows me to be at peace. And then I just knock out my work, but I'm eating right, right? I'm taking, the right vitamins. I'm working out. I'm doing, things afterwards to make sure I have more energy, right? To be able to execute in other things that are important to me for the rest of the evening. So I feel like I just got to the point to where everything is segmented, and as long as I follow a schedule, right, and just kind of do everything, like I'm gonna be able to show up in all these different arenas, which is honestly, it's a beautiful thing.
100%, man. I agree. I appreciate that, bro. Lastly, man, before we take out here, man, what would you say to anybody who's been looking at the Grind Tribe and they know they need to make a change, but they're on the fence about making that commitment to hopping inside of this program, bro?
I think, one of the biggest things, I have a lot of friends in the space. I just know the space, fairly decently well. I think that you just got a program that is not comparable to a lot of other programs. It's, whether being a techie, what I'm saying, like the way you integrate the mobile application aspect and, checking in with us. That's one thing that I really like. The way that you allow us to really understand our tracking and caloric intake and, making sure we're on a surplus. And checking in with us each and every week, and just like, the transparency that you have of not saying that you're perfect, and being able to f up, what I'm saying, and then we like, yeah, you know what, I had a bad day, Elijah did too, like it's normal, we're able to go through that. And I think just kind of going back to one of my earlier points, I think one of the reasons why I'm so balanced now, right, still room to grow, is because of your intentionality to the diet, the mental fortitude aspect of it, and the physical training and how it kind of comes together. And I don't know, like other programs, I don't really get that, and I don't get the intentionality to just kind of progressing, and just kind of having somebody that's accountable for you. And I think the last thing too is the dope group of guys. We got the Grind Tribe. You got a collective group of males, right, that are within the same area of life. We may have different jobs, different industries. Some of us have kids, some of us don't, but we share this idea of, I want to become the best me. I want to be that alpha male. And when you see guys that are in the trenches with you on our weekly, calls and our virtual sessions, it's like, yo, man, I got a homie. Like, and honestly, in this virtual world, like, I think I'm the only one like down south. Like, there's people all around the nation, which you just kind of grow with. And I think that's one thing that you're intentional on, that I love about, the Grind Shop. So that's kind of my sales pitch on it.
Cool, my brother. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you sharing your insight, man. If you're watching this right now and you're looking to make the change, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Go ahead and book a call, see how we can be the best fit for you to make that transformation, man, physically and mentally. Let's do it.